Godfrey still live or no?
Man School 202. Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better male. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.
Yo, GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? The Sexual Revolution is being podcasted, and I am excited. What's poppin', my people? We haven't been in the studio in a week, and I kind of dropped the ball on the weekend. I just wasn't feeling too good. Want to try and do another live from my home studio in the next few. I don't know. People are still getting in the chat. We'll talk about that later. How's everybody doing? I'm feeling good. I'm on my 2-day fast so far. This is my second day of a fast. So I'm feeling light and lively, Mike. I'm feeling light and lively. The cravings is getting me. But, gotta be the best version of ourselves. Money Mike in the building. What's up, Mike? Say what's up to the people.
What's up, Dante? I missed you last week.
Same, man. It was, missed you too, bro. It was a good time. Good little rest and reset so we can get and do this the way it needs to be done. Shout out to everybody who's been just giving love and subscribing and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so that you get anytime I go live. I'm definitely gonna be going live at least for a second day in the near future. And we got a lot to talk about. We just did a video on the DJ academics and fresh and fit dudes who got caught simping. For what do you call it? For some sugar baby website, just begging for pussy and let me fly you out. Crazy.
But you know what? There's still dudes who will look at them like these dudes know what they're talking about.
They know what they're talking about. Or they come at me hard. But what's crazy is so what's interesting about when you're dealing with these low vibration chicks, what they do is they record you and then they put out the tweets. So Academics had it was like 20 tweets, Mike. It was just call me. Why aren't you calling me? I know you're hearing me. Why are you doing this? I love you. Please call me back. I can't understand it. And then she goes, her response is, you're a clown. And then he goes, just pick up the phone. I know you're getting these. It's ugly.
Pussy's powerful.
If you let it, Mike. If you let it.
And powerful men let it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what? That has happened, and that's what this podcast is all about. So you get immune, and for the ladies, it's for you to understand how to exponentially increase your power too. Because if you understand how men think, then you know how to, you definitely know how to play the game. But I would assume also that any of the women that listen to the podcast, they're listening because they want a man. They want to. Because I'm going to tell you, you got to be righteous no matter what happens. I mean, time and time again, as Myq is my testament, they dudes we know that are rich, and then they, chick runs their life. And then ultimately it ends up in their demise because of the fact that there's no boundaries, and reckless as you want to be, you end up destroying the relationship. I always say this: a man has to be strong enough to protect himself from the relationship, his woman, and have to be able to protect her from her emotions sometimes. Because when she's got a thought in her, if a woman has a thought in her mind and she doesn't respect you, there is no putting on the brakes. I think it's almost genetic in a way how women, when they come across weak men, they find them unattractive, and a lot of times they get abusive, and they never. It's never a situation when we go, "Oh, I've dogged him enough." If you keep coming around, you can still get kicked in the nuts. And I don't think that's I think that and I say this all the time, never let emotion have a seat at the table. And if you're emotion driven, then there's no logic. You don't allow these other things to come in, credibility and empathy and all of these other things, because you're emotional and you feel powerful. We got a call already. Shit, you didn't put, damn, 347-464-2827. Let's get the call. Who we talking to?
What's up, man? It's Javion. Calling from Mississippi by way of Kansas City.
What's going on, Mississippi? M-I, crooked letter I. What's going on, baby?
Man, nothing much, man. I just wanted to get your take on the little relationship situation that I'm having right now.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Okay, so basically I'm in a relationship with my woman. We got kids together. We've been together about six plus years.
Mm-hmm. How many kids?
Right now,
how many kids?
Well, prior to me, she had 3 already. And then when I came in the situation, I took on the responsibility of the 3 kids. About a year down the line, we had our first child together, and now we have 2 together. So it's 5 altogether.
Wow. Okay. All right.
A lot of responsibilities.
I want to give you a round of applause for being a saint to take on some other man's seed. That's pretty dope of you. But go ahead. I don't know if she gives you the props about that, but I am. So go ahead, continue.
It's one of the reasons I wanted to call in, because I feel like it's not being reciprocated. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm putting my emotions involved. It can get mentally draining when you're putting so much out and not getting the same type of love back.
Okay, when you say you're not getting the same love type back, what do you mean? Like, what are your expectations?
Like if I'm willing to, okay, we are younger people. We're both in our 20s, late 20s. I'm 26.
Okay.
She's 28, I'm 29.
Okay.
So if I'm willing to, as far as love, what I mean by that is, if I'm willing to sacrifice my time to put like stuff aside to make sure that the kids in the household, everything is upheld, I feel like it should be reciprocated if we're both being adults about the situation.
But yeah, give me specifics. In a perfect world, what would this look like? You would come home and what would happen? What is she not doing?
Okay, so she does the morning shifts. I work later at night because I piggyback off of her schedule because she has a certain profession she wants to uphold.
Okay.
So I respect her. I respect that of her. When we got together, we both weren't like completely on our feet. So I understood that it was gonna be a work in progress.
Okay.
So she does the morning shift now. She works from like 6 in the morning to 3. I have to be at work at 5. There's no reason why you can't come home and relieve me of taking on responsibilities of keeping the house up, keeping the house kept up.
So you're saying that you take the late shift, she comes home and then she don't do nothing.
Right.
When you say nothing, what, does she not clean? Does she not take care of the kids? What does she do? Put her feet up and then
she come home. She'll probably take her pants off, keep her underwear on, jump straight in the bed, straight to Facebook. So you know the typical things that, well, I ain't gonna say typical, but some of the things that a lot of women are doing nowadays. They just come home, go straight to social media, want to worry
Okay,
about what
so
everybody
let
else
me ask you
doing.
this: what would you want her to do? You would want her to clean up and get on it, or whatever. Or, I mean, are you?
I would like her to come home and make sure everything is good. Like, I come home.
Now, have you
like
said
at
that
least
to her? Have you had that conversation with her?
many a time.
And
That's why
and what is her response?
she tell me how. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but this is the guy running
Listen,
through.
you on the
I
call,
bring
and
something.
wait,
I bring something to the.
give me a pause. Give me a pause on that, right? Understand something. You calling in here, I am not, and this is for any of the callers, I am not judging you. You understand? You're calling for help. I understand that you're calling for help. And I know that's a difficult thing for a man to do anyway. But in no shape or form.
It's a thin line.
Well, I mean, not for me, because I'm not judging you. You understand?
Okay.
So what I want you to say is you can be honest about what it is, because not only does your honesty is going to help somebody else, but it's hopefully I can help you, right? So I don't want you to feel any kind of way. I don't want you to feel this is a safe place where you can say what you feel. I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm not judging you. I mean, we've all been there. This is one of the things about most of the time guys feel as though you can't be vulnerable. And that's why I started doing consultations in the first place, is because guys had no safe space, and they didn't have people who they could talk to first that would know what the answers are, and that they could be vulnerable. So just say what it is on your mind.
Okay, so basically, she comes home. It's like she's not picking up anything.
No, listen, I don't want you to tell me what she's not doing. I'm telling you, I'm asking you so you spoke to her about this, and what was her response?
I spoke to her about this, and it's just about. Okay, come listen to the podcast at the same time. It's positive.
What is her response? You had this conversation with her. What is her response?
Yes, sir.
What is her response?
Her response to me is just telling me how much that I'm not doing. When I bring something to.
Okay, so here we have a situation where you're in a situation with her. I mean, you have 2 kids. You're already, first of all, if you had spoke to me before and you said you got some girl with 3 kids, I would have tell you to run the other way. I don't care how bad she is. Because ultimately, those kids are going to be her responsibility, and they're going to come first before you. And then you add 2 kids to that. What you've really done is lock yourself into a situation where now you're attached to somebody who has 3 kids. There's a reason why she has 3 kids and no man, too. Now that might be his fault, but listen, women who are agreeable and cooperative and those kind of things, they don't stay on the vine, bro. Somebody else snatches them up. So what I'm saying to you is, if you've said this to her and her response is, well, you don't do this and you don't do that, right? Then this is what it's going to be. This is the bed that you made. This is what you're going to have to sleep in. You don't have to stay. You can take your kids and go, But if you're in this situation, if you had this is what but what I'm going to say to you is, this has always been the case. When you say it's a work in progress, if somebody's not agreed, this is not the first time you complained about something and then she spun it around and complained about you, right?
No, I'm not.
You got to understand, this is her constitution. Her constitution has never been, this is my man, thank God he's being a father to my children. Is the baby's father in the picture at all?
Well, I'm gonna be completely honest. You asked for honesty. I've seen, as far as I've been there, the fathers have always tried to be in their kid's life. Okay. And me being a man, I try to make amends to where everything is good, to where they feel comfortable enough to call and they can talk to their children.
Right.
But she pushes them away.
Okay, so here's my thing. Knowing that, right? What do you think? I mean, you have to assess what you got as a woman. You have a woman who's selfish, who wants to push these guys away, which means that she doesn't even value her place as a mother. She knows that you got. How often do you have? How many baby fathers is it?
It's 2 other ones, including me. So it's 2 other ones.
My thing to you is, look, and this is no disrespect for you. Don't,
Yes,
whoever's out there, don't never get in this. You got a woman and she's got 2 baby fathers. Both of them left. There's a reason why they left.
All right.
This is who she is. If you had a conversation with them and you pulled them aside and said, "Hey, why'd you leave?" Right? I bet you they would say the same shit that you are complaining about right now. Right?
Yeah, probably so.
Are they trying to get back with her?
More than likely.
Are they trying
They're
to?
not trying to get. They're not trying to get back with her. They're trying to be in their children's life.
So why? But why do you think that is? If what I would do is have a conversation with them, ask them. I mean, man to man, say, look, this is a situation. I mean, you not there, and I'm having problems. I guarantee you'll tell them. They will tell you that's the same thing that you're telling me now. And if that's the case, this is who she's gonna be with. So you gotta. I don't think that this is gonna change. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
I mean, and this is. I mean, because if you're the 3rd baby's father, right?
Right, I am.
And you were out of it, and even if you left out of this, you be out of there. And I guarantee you, what I would say. Here's what I would say: talk to the baby's father and see why they left. Guarantee, and if they tell you that I had the same problem, right? What's going to happen is you got to either decide if this kind of selfish behavior is going to be okay for you, or if you gotta get in the win.
Yeah, for real.
Do you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yes, sir.
I wish I had an answer for you, but there's no answer. You can't make people. I understand something. I advise people in relationships, but really, you can't make people do what they don't want to do. So if her constitution is to, I'm almost positive, because what woman has fathers who want to be in their children's lives and then makes that more difficult? These fathers being in their children's lives is for their benefit, and because it's inconvenient to her, or because she don't like them no more, because they don't like her, she's willing to deprive her kids for her own comfort. What about that makes her a good mother? Makes her a good mate? You feel me?
Yes, I feel you. Thank you.
So you gotta decide if this is something that you're gonna just say, okay, I'm gonna reserve the rest of my life to be some dude who's taking care of somebody else's kids and doing everything and coming home and not be reciprocated on, or you're gonna get in the win and make sure you're in your kids' lives. You feel me?
Yeah, that's what's most important.
Yeah, because
it's just a hard pill to swallow, because emotions and putting so much into one person, like you said, like you can't make nobody do anything that they don't want to do.
My thing is, how old?
I'm 26.
Yeah, man. So I mean, this is who she was when you met her, no?
Yeah, but it was kind of like a flip-flop situation, like acting one way, like playing her cards right.
You were just the new guy.
Yeah, I was blind to it.
But you got to understand, the first guy left, right? And then the second guy left. And neither one of y'all asked, why does everybody keep leaving her? The common denominator is her, bro. I mean, I appreciate your call, man. I hope you make a decision and put your happiness first, because your happiness includes those kids' happiness,
Right.
And if you're not willing to, if the decision that you make is negative and you're not willing to make the decision that needs to be made, then I can promise you that the behavior is not going to change. At least if you're out, maybe she'll learn and she'll go, hey, man, I fucked up again. This is the third one. Maybe she might, but I don't think so. It's not likely. That's why these women, you have to put these women who are going to act this way on the fringe and not put babies in them, and not attach yourself,
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
bruh?
All right.
All right, family. Appreciate you. Put that number up, Mike. Here's the thing about, the philosophies that I expound and so on and so forth is I'm going to be honest with you without fail. I don't have the ability not to, because the honesty that I profess is the same honesty that I'm asking from you. If I can't do it myself, how do I don't even feel like I have the right to ask you to do the same. And what I find is no matter what happens, if you don't practice this kind of credibility and this or ace in general, what ultimately happens is you end up in a situation where you end up screwed up anyway. I know, and Myq could testify this, we all got friends who are literally making bank, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and then they're in their home, in their home being controlled by their woman, rushing home. Our business as comics is it's out in these streets. I mean, that's how you make this money. And you dudes will be rushing home, trying to get home because they don't want to, not even because, the kids are up or something about the kids, but rushing home because they, they're afraid that they don't want to get spanked. I mean, and I don't mean that really in the literal sense, but they don't want to have an argument, so they're not doing the things that make them successful in the first place. 347-464-2827. We got a call. Let's go.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, Dante?
Who am I speaking with? Where you calling from?
My name's Cameron. I'm from LA. We've consulted a couple times before.
Okay, cool. Did I do you well?
Oh yeah, I've been doing pretty good for myself.
Okay,
I've been
awesome.
Been keeping up with the work.
Okay,
trying to, just started therapy not too long ago.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been trying to get everything right.
Cool, awesome. How can I help you, bro?
So recently, I started going out with this one girl, and she's cool, and everything's seems like pretty okay. Couple things though, kind of what we were talking about was you kind of have to be willing to go through the argument.
Right, absolutely.
But I still kind of feel like I keep things kind of close to the chest first.
Right.
Like maybe it's not a problem yet.
Okay.
So I'm at the point, is it a problem? So
well, let me ask you this: if somebody is stepping on your foot, right?
Yeah.
Is it fair to go, ouch, yo, you're on my foot?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the fact that you're tempering your emotions, I'm not saying you fly off the you don't have to fly off the handle and lose your mind, but I think that you can say, listen, this is how I feel about this. And it gives them a space to go, well, oh no, that's not what I meant at all, or it's okay to ask the clear conceptions, because let me ask you this: if she got a feeling, you gonna hear about it, right?
Oh yeah.
And how quickly
it kind of goes into what I was gonna bring up.
Okay, go ahead. Fast forward. Continue.
So on my end, we've been having sex and stuff, and I went down, but didn't get reciprocated, like the other caller said.
How often have y'all slept together?
3-4 times.
Okay, and she's never gone down, right?
No.
So let me ask you something. Let me ask you this. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue, and I'll ask my questions.
So she kind of hinted that she wanted it, so I went ahead and did that.
Hinted how?
And then
did she grab you by the ears and put her foot on the top of your head and push you?
No. She actually asked me. She actually asked me, she's like, do you want to lick it? I was like, well, yeah.
Right.
And
Okay.
and then after I was like, all right, well, do you want to? And
And she said,
she was just like, and I was like,
yeah.
all right.
Okay. So what does this say to you? I mean, how long have you been dating this chick? You slept with her about 3 times, right? And 3 times.
Not very long. Probably over the past month, went on 5-6 dates.
Okay. And you slept, how many times have you slept with her?
4 times.
Okay. So are you okay with going down on her and her not blowing you? Are you okay with not having them, never getting your dick sucked again?
No.
Well, then you have to, I say this, so you've heard me say this, relationships are really easy. Just know what your non-negotiables are and then never negotiate them. And
Yeah.
it's one thing if she's not, but first of all, let's be honest. Would you ask for some head and not reciprocate? Would you do that?
No.
Okay. And why wouldn't you do that?
Well, one, I just like to make the other person feel good.
Okay.
But 2, it's just like, yeah, like.
But
that's
why?
just not-
Why wouldn't you do it?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
If either I didn't like doing it or it's kind of
No, I'm saying
a
you
little bit of a mess.
Right. Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if it's a mess, or if it's whatever, or if it's something that's just not appetizing, or smell, or maybe there's an infection, or whatever the case may be. But I'm saying you wouldn't ask somebody for head and then not be willing to give head, right?
Yeah.
Because that's reciprocal and fair. So somebody who doesn't do that is what? Non-reciprocating and unfair, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I was thinking is like it's kind of a sign of a bigger thing.
Of course
like
it is. Of course it is.
Yeah, like it's like devil's in the details, which is what I kind of learned by listening to you.
Well, it's interesting because this is not even a detail, because she asked you to go down and then was like, no, You're dealing with somebody who's just selfish in nature. I mean, you could have a conversation with her. I don't think that's gonna change, because if somebody's selfish like that, that's who you're dealing with. Y'all are not exclusive or nothing like that, right?
No.
Are you laying the 5 bricks and maintaining your options open?
Yeah. I don't have any current options, but I'm keeping the bricks
but are
going.
you laying the 5 bricks every day? Like, are you out consciously, practicing your skills, keeping your tools sharp?
Yeah, I'm keeping them sharp.
Okay. All right. And you haven't had any, because what happens a lot of times when we get something, all of a sudden we're like, okay, this is it. What you have to do is act like this. That you got to keep the same energy that when you have something, that when you don't have something. That you don't
and
want.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
Like I don't mind having the conversation. It's just like because I was just thinking today that I'm cool by myself.
Right.
Like I'd rather be by myself than be in a relationship that is not reciprocating.
Right. Because it's all gonna fall apart anyway. Eventually, it's gonna go to shit anyway. So why not?
So
it's not waste your time with somebody who the relationship is doomed to go there in the first place.
Yeah, I get that, and what it kind of goes into that answers my question in one way is just bring it up beforehand. Have the conversation.
Have a conversation. Y'all 4 times, and she's never made an attempt to go down on you, and then there needs to be have a conversation, and you go listen. You just say, listen, I'm just curious. Yeah. Do you not suck dick? Do you not what's up?
Yeah.
And she go, oh well.
The actions speak louder than words.
Well, because she's already saying that, but I'm saying is that there's a possibility that there may be some extenuating circumstances, but the simple fact, I'm pretty sure what the answer is. Somebody that meditatedly requests something for you that they're not willing to do is by definition, is unrequited. You know what I mean? It's just that it is an unreciprocal. It's really a parasitic kind of relationship. So you got to decide if you're gonna gonna tolerate. I mean, these are, like I said, if you have somebody who acts this way, we as a society, we need to go, this is unacceptable, and your I guess your reward for that is loneliness.
Yeah.
I just said a guy on here just now, married, was hooked up with a girl with 3 kids. Like, do you understand the magnitude of that, to walk into that and go, oh, I'm a watch two other guys walk away from it and leave their children in the process because, the assumption is, maybe if it was one kid, but I mean, we're talking about 3 kids, and where somebody goes, yeah, this woman is so awful that I need to not be here. And here's the other thing, even if those guys are trash, right? You got a woman who picks trash.
Yeah.
So
either way, it says something about it.
It says something. You don't even have to. I mean, we could delve into what the specifics are, but the reality is it doesn't matter. Like, how does this work out? If you got somebody who's verbally saying, like, she didn't sit back and say, let me see if he goes down on me or whatever, or he goes down on me. I didn't ask him to go there. She literally asked you, and then was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. So that does answer a lot of questions for that part.
Here's how
I wanted to bring up
here's how I would handle it too. I would just stop calling.
Yeah.
How often do you speak to her on the phone?
Not too often. Like usually when we're like setting up like dates and stuff.
That's another thing, guys. This is what I say all the time. You got to pick up the phone. You have to talk to women. You can't just talk when it's time to set up the date. You need to, because this is how you get an early bead on who the person that you're dealing with. You're not talking to her, so like this is the 3rd time you're coming around and you're realizing, that now she's selfish. I mean, you could have figured that out in a couple of conversations. Women will tell you, I mean, they're not just women, but anybody, they will tell you who you are if you ask them questions. So this idea of just hooking up, I mean, and I know you've heard me say this, get on the phone and talk. It makes you better at communicating, and it gets you, there's an intimacy in that helps move things quicker. But go ahead, what's the second part?
The second part is just wondering, like, if I handled this all right. We actually were supposed to meet up today. Like, in my mind, like, because of all this, like, non-reciprocating kind of stuff, I kind of, like, thought, okay, she's cool, but maybe I'll keep her kind of, like, lower on the side. Roster.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so what happened was we made these plans to go to, like, this place I like to eat. So kind of like a sports bar and stuff.
Right.
And she said, hey, I already ate, but I'm still down to go to the place, like play some pool. But before I responded, my friend called me and said, hey, I bought you a movie ticket. Do you mind being a wingman for me today?
Right.
So what time's the movie? He says 9:30. I'm like, all right, I can probably like fit both in, because this girl also like doesn't have a car, so I'd have to pick her up anyway.
Right.
So she called me like after I was done with my other phone call. She said, hey, like, did you get my message? I'm like, yeah, I'm still down to go too, but I'd have to drop you back home at 9 because my friend bought me a movie ticket.
Hook up with a friend. Yeah.
And at this point, I'm like, I'd rather do that because one, it's my friend, and like, that seems like a fun time.
Uh-huh. You don't even have to. You don't even have to explain that.
Yeah,
you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. Y'all don't have a committed relationship. You can do what you want to do. Okay.
Yeah. So she kind of like in her tone of voice, like got like upset about it. She's like, oh, all right. Like, I mean, if you want to go with your friend, like, then we'll just do it another time.
Okay. So
like, all right,
she was like, she was like, forget the whole thing up until 9 because you want to be with your friend.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
fine.
I was like, all right, that's fine. And then she texted me kind of saying that she's big on planning and doesn't like cancel plans. I'm like, I didn't cancel. I just was trying to fit, more plans in one night.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, in the future, I'd like to feel.
Now, didn't
Like-
you call her, yo, I'm getting ready to go, like, impromptu? Like, yo, I'm getting ready to go to, you want to go get something to eat, or was this plans that you made for her earlier? Like, how long before did you?
Yeah, we made these plans, I think it was like Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. You're being too available. You're being too available, and we're in a situation, and you're in a situation where it's not reciprocal. I don't, honestly, let me tell you, I don't think it's fair that you would make plans and then some other plans come up and you blow off. What about that is credible?
Okay.
Right? But
Yeah.
but it's also if you're in a situation. So she's absolutely right. I'm into making plans. You made these plans. I mean, one of the things you have to maintain your credibility, no matter what, even when she doesn't. It's not credible that she asked you to go down on her and don't go down on you. That where's the empathy in that? Where's the honesty and the empathy in that? But that doesn't matter. We don't operate the way we operate because we're not reactional. And so when you make plans, you're supposed to keep the plans. That's your credibility. You feel me?
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering about, because in my mind, I was thinking, well, the plan was to get dinner. We didn't really make anything other than that, so I didn't see why not do both. But I also see what you're saying, and that like I have to live up to like a higher standard because that's the way I want to live.
That's the way you wanted to go down. So I mean that's definitely the case. My thing is you got to maintain your framing, no matter what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling.
All right, appreciate you.
I'm getting smoked out. Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the things that I find helps me maintain my my confidence is the fact that I consistently keep the same energy across the board. I'm very consistent. You don't have to friends, family, women that I'm dating, whatever. I'm very consistent about, and I don't let their behavior change who I am. What I will do is, based on their behavior, is whether or not they gain access. That's what I see as really important is the gaining of the access. If you're a great guy and you're putting time, energy, and I mean, to just be honest, and this is just the way the game is set up. It is your responsibility to get the reservation. It is your responsibility to plan the date. It is your responsibility to make it interesting. We got a call. Let's get it in.
Call, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, Dante? I just wanted to know if there was a specific topic tonight because everybody's talking about emotional stuff, and I actually had an issue about something at work.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm open for anything. I'm wide open. What do you got?
All right, cool. So I work for this company, and I work directly with the CEO. And the CEO is kind of a more of a flamboyant guy. I don't work for P. Diddy.
Okay.
But,
all right. No Diddy. All right.
Yeah, got you. And this guy, he's kind of like has these ways where he sends these subtle hints that are kind of like passive aggression things. And I'm kind of like, all right, so how do I handle this? And I've spoken to him about it, like, hey, are you like kind of coming at me or something? And I don't really know how to handle this issue because my father passed away a couple years ago, and I usually would talk to him about it.
So let me
all
ask
of my
you this.
guys I hang out with.
Is the guy, is your CEO gay, or is he just flamboyant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And give me an example of this kind of passive aggressive nonsense.
Okay, so there's some issues will come up, and I'm like, hey, you can't really let me know last minute about these things that are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, well, we were kind of notified last minute. And I'm like, okay, no problem, I'll get it handled. And then an issue will come up with like my pay, and I'll say, hey, do you mind if I talk to you about this before I put in my timesheet? And he's like, hey, you got to schedule a meeting with me, and you know how I operate. And I'm like, well, the timesheets are due by midnight, and there's an issue. If I can't schedule a meeting with you in the next couple of hours, so
right.
you're kind of like being really
Right. So is it? So in other words, it's the expectations for you are higher than they expect than they give, right?
Along those lines. And I'm kind of more of a kitchen guy. So when I have an issue, I'm kind of more like, oh, you want to step outside? And now I'm growing into the corporate business. I mean, the corporate world, where I have to kind of like step back and
Now,
say, hey,
that's the top person in the business, right?
yes.
Okay. So here's the thing. If you got a shitty boss with a shitty personality, you got to decide if the money, their chances are they're not going to change. But what I can say, so have you anytime they've said, you say you have to see, you can't relate it together. Whenever you're talking to somebody who's an employer, you have to make it relevant to them, right? If the point is that I'm assuming, give me another example quick, because before I just go on to one thing that you were saying.
Another example well, it's kind of the repeated things. It's a time constraint thing when they're like, it's the same issue over and over again where they're like, oh, we need you to generate this report. Like I just got an email today saying I have until 1:00 tomorrow, and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, wow, I have 19 hours.
Right. Well, I think when you have a situation, you got to confront that head on. So you gotta ask, you gotta schedule a meeting, and you gotta tell them what your concerns are, and you gotta say ultimately, if you do this, if you continue to give me short notice or whatever, because I'm assuming that's what the problem is. Yes.
Right. Correct.
Short notice and expect you to if you want me to do my best work, then I need to have ample time to or send an email. There's nobody above them, right? But above
No.
him. Okay. Is it a small company or no?
No, it's a generally small company, but I think you touched on something really good. Just like take the time and sit down and write
explain
it out.
And if you got to understand this, if you you should have it all written out exactly what the problem is, and then also what's great about that is you got to document the incidents. So take a little time to document on 4/19 such and such has happened. I approached you about this, and have it lined out, because a lot of times people don't want to be scrutinized. If they know that you're keeping track, that it makes them. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you're working out and you got a trainer and they're watching they're watching over you. We just do better when we know we're being
right.
taken into consideration, and no CEO in general doesn't want to be perceived as incompetent. So when you lay it out, if you date it and list it and lay it out, that's how you do it. So it makes her
Appreciate it,
makes
Dante.
them know, look, I'm being watched and I need to be accountable for. And then the resolution should be, and if you want me to do the best work that I'm possibly, then I can't tell you how to run your company, but I would need to in order to do better, I would need this, and this. I don't think that's unreasonable,
I appreciate your time and your understanding, brother.
And if he goes, fuck you, then that's your job. Then you make a job, you start looking for another job, and then you put your ducks in a row. And then even when you do that, so when they're complaining, here's another thing corporately. What I find is a little tip that I've learned through years. When people are talking, when they're singing your praises, ask them if you could have a recommendation letter.
Right.
Get it right. If you're singing my praises, would you mind writing up a little something, just so I can show my growth, and show that, and so I can have in writing that's what you think about me. And if they really think that about you, you shouldn't have a problem. But what you do is, if you ever get fired or you get laid off or it goes bad at the end, you got a shitload of letters that say that you are, you know what I mean? Like contrary to what they're talking about. Just a little heads up. Appreciate you, bro.
Got you. Appreciate you. Have a blessed one.
No, right. I always like questions like that, because it shows how the principles apply no matter what you do. You're being honest. You're maintaining credibility. You're not letting your emotion. You're going, this is what the situation is. I have the empathy to see what's important to the employer, which is the same thing like a woman. You got to have the empathy to see what she wants and what she needs, and then decide what's reasonable and decide whether she's worth it and if she's willing to compromise. We talk about the definition of compromise all the time. I say it's where neither party is happy. Both parties make concessions. Nobody leaves with everything. So in other words, you shutting the fuck up and not talking about things that concern you that's not a compromise. That's you giving away the farm because you don't want to have the argument or whatever. And you got to have the argument. We got a call. Let's go.
Hey, Dante. How's it going, man?
What's going on, bro? Who am I speaking to? Where you calling from?
My name's Blake. I'm calling from Southwest Oklahoma.
Okay. Well, how can I help you, Blake?
Tonight, sir?
Good, man. How can I help you, bro?
Oh, man. I got to take it back to, sorry, fellas, got to take it back to lady advice.
Okay.
So I've been with my girl about 4 years, and she's really great. She's really everything I've been looking for, and the only problem, we really have a great relationship, I feel like, but every 6 months or so, I guess she gets fed up with my shit.
What shit? When you say fed up with my shit, what do you mean?
I don't even know, man. I'm doing the same shit I always do.
What is her complaints?
Well, honestly, her biggest complaint right now is I watch too much Red Bar pussy. Woo!
You watch what?
Red Bar's watching.
What is Red Bar? Oh, this fucking idiots. Cut that one off. The fucking dickheads. I won't even get into it. It's a dickhead, bunch of dickheads. It's interesting how guys have time to waste. You're such a loser that you got time to call and talk to me and come into to comment on something when you could go be a better motherfucker. Stop being a fucking loser in your life, you jerk off. Anyway, we got another call. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on? It's Ken calling from Chicago.
What's up, bro? How can I help you?
Not really. You can't really help me. I just got a couple things. First of all, I've been following you for a very long time. I got introduced to you back on the Black Phillip Show.
Yeah.
And O&A. So I've been following you for a long time. Rest in peace, Patrice O'Neal.
That's like 2006, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's been a minute, bro. But what I wanted to touch on, you had a brother on just a couple calls ago who was talking about working in the corporate world.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to give him a little bit of advice too, because I've been there and I'm still there.
Okay.
And it's not easy.
Okay.
I started with a company nearly 10 years ago, and I was a direct installer. So I was basically the boots on the ground.
Okay.
And over that 10 years, I've had several different positions in that company. And about 3 or 4 years in, I got into a situation where now I'm in boardroom meetings. And I was a young black dude from the south side of Chicago.
Right.
And I didn't know how to speak the language. I was
Right.
real passive.
Right.
Honestly, I did a lot of code switching.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I felt like I needed to fit in.
Sure.
So one of these older white dudes set me down. We had a happy hour. And he set me down, and he said to me honestly, he's like, you know what? I know you got a lot. You got a lot of intelligence. You got a lot of ideas. You got a lot of feedback. But when you're in those meetings, you don't say anything.
Right.
One thing you need to do is you need to start speaking up.
Right.
All ideas are ideas. Whether they're a good idea or not, you need to say that.
Absolutely.
And
But what we're also talking about is something that I say all the time is you gotta take up space. You
have to.
You should not be moving through life, and that is in general. That's anywhere you go, anything you do, you should take up space. When you don't take up space, and this is reminiscent of what mentally is going on with you when you do that. You don't think you're worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And because you don't think you're worthy, you don't speak up and you don't take up space. So you're always
eats at you and it'll make you feel like less of a man, and then that can transfer into your personal life too.
Oh, it does.
So
a lot of
and it
times
sounds
it's
like
a
that
lot
young
of times
man is about to get to that point.
a lot of times it's reflective of your life. It's not just
Yeah.
yeah. So
So I just wanted to, put that little bit of info out there for that brother.
I appreciate you,
And
man.
hopefully he can sit down and he can actually talk to that.
Yeah,
talk to that
and if
CEO.
not,
maybe
I
have
think
a drink with him, get him loosened up.
yeah,
and then
the
have
thing
a real conversation with like a heart to heart.
the thing, well, that was my advice, but the thing with that is also a situation where if you had the conversation, the idea is to say, listen, either I'm going to stay here because it's financially viable, or I'm going to start putting my ducks in a row, and which is, again, it goes back to the same principles over and over again. Never negotiate your non-negotiables, and if your non-negotiables is to be in a workplace that is conducive to creativeness and your personal growth, then it's time to move on. But we just got to be honest about it and know what we're signing up for and what we're not, man. I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for the help, bro.
No problem, brother. Take care.
All right, peace. What's that number? I haven't said that number enough. I'm on some chill shit. That's because I'm probably high as shit. God damn. 347-464-2827. This is it's a funny thing. I was talking about the DJ Academics. If y'all want to check that video out, it's on the Man School 202 YouTube page. It's the new podcast that we just dropped. And what's interesting is about as much as you see these guys who are, have all this bravado, all these guys in the manosphere, and they have all this bravado, and I'm this, and I got a Bugatti, and I got all of that stuff comes from insecurity. My problem with that is that your young, impressionable men and even older men who are just looking for some kind of directions is going to adopt that, and you just tell people the right thing. You have to have a responsibility of being righteous and telling the right thing, saying the truth, being credible. We got a call. Let's go.
Yo, what's up, Dante? This is Sean from Illinois.
What's going on, Sean from Illinois? What can I help you with, bro?
First off, been following you for a long time. Just wanted to say I appreciate
you, bro. Appreciate it. Spread the
word.
Spread the word.
Yep, I definitely will. Thank you, brother. And I appreciate y'all taking my call. My question was, I'd like to get some of Dante's do's and don'ts for making a date exciting. I take a woman out and I try to be creative and introduce her to things maybe she hasn't seen before. But I would really love your input on that.
All right, I can give you that. That's a easy take. First thing I think is, like I've said to you, I've said this, I've been preaching this for a while. You got to get on the phone. Sean, are you a guy that talks on the phone, or do you just text?
Back in the day, I used to. I would love. Is there a way that you kind of set that up?
Absolutely. You call. You go, listen, I don't text. So if we can't really have, I don't text. I mean, I'm if there's an emergency, but I'm interested in being with somebody who is willing to find some level of intimacy. And if you can't talk on the phone, then we can't rock. Like, this way you eliminate the ones that don't want to talk. First of all, a woman is going to look at you like you're crazy because of the fact that they're going to feel, wow, this guy has enough confidence in himself to say what he wants and what he will tolerate and what he won't tolerate. When you're just willing to take whatever they're willing to give you, what you're saying is that I'm worth less than what you're willing to offer, when half the time you don't even know what they're offering, or if they're offering anything. I mean, they could literally be offering you a nice dose of schizophrenia or bipolarness. I mean, you're talking to this woman, you don't know her, and you're making her decision. You made a decision what her value is. You don't want to do that. Second thing is this. So speaking about a woman wants you to be a man, wants you to give guidance. And if you're showing that you're strong enough, a woman will always let you drive. They will always let you drive. The difference is they want to make sure that you know how to drive, and when you're stepping up with the confidence of the fact that First of all, okay, so I don't want to go off and say that there's a situation where you just do what you want to do. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you meet somebody and you have a conversation with them, and then your move is to definitely move to the phone, and then you ask her questions, you have a conversation, you engage, you try to connect by asking questions that evoke emotions. For instance, what do you do for a living? Do you like it? If you could do anything, and if there was any job that you wanted, what would it be? If you had your dream job, what would your life look like? Because what you're asking is first of all, you're connecting because you're saying, I'm interested in getting to know you. But what you're really, yes, you are interested, but you're also deciding whether she's good enough for you. You know, if she got 5 babies and 5 baby daddies, right? You want to find that out because that says a little something about who you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so as you're talking, I mean, you ask what kind of food you eat, because you're also these conversations that you're having with these, it's just not random. You're just not trying to survive. You got to be genuinely interested in getting to know who this person is, and why wouldn't you? Like, if you have no options, what's your response to any options at all is like you grab on until you hold on to it, right? So what you're saying, you're communicating to the opposite sex that you have no value, that you're willing to accept anything. Whereas if you have options, right? It's like you go into a restaurant and you decide or even better, you go to a bar, you want to drink top shelf. What's your top? What do you have as top shelf? If you're somebody's giving you some shit that you don't know and never heard of, you're like, what's that? And the simple fact that you're asking somebody to qualify themselves sets the tone of the relationship immediately. It says that this is a mutual thing, that it's just not me vying for your attention, that I have something valuable, and you have to qualify for it. I don't mean that in a cocky sense, but I mean in just a genuine sense. So you're talking and you don't want it, like, for instance, if she's got a seafood allergy, you want to know, you don't want to take her to the Captain's Crock or whatever for seafood.
Captain D's or something. Yeah.
Yeah. You want so talking to them and getting to know them also becomes the dossier from how you set the date up. The second thing I'd say to dudes all the time is something I call time travel. You have multiple locations. You go to multiple locations. You start out when you meet, you start out with a hug, and I'm really excited about. And then as you go escalate from location to location, your touch becomes more sexual and more flirty.
Yes.
Always keeping in mind where the resistance is, where the wall is, you know? So you want to be mindful of that. That she's giving you consent in terms of her actions, but you want to, as you go because every location you go to is almost like another date. So you take one date and you make it 4 dates, and as you make it 4 dates, every time that you go to the new date, which is the new location, you increase the sexual tension. So, like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Like, if you go, let's say you go for a drink early, and then you maybe go listen to some music, right? And then maybe you have a drink or two there or whatever, and then you go someplace to eat, right? And then after you go someplace to eat and you don't have your dessert there, you take a walk or whatever. Let's take a walk over by the water or something like that, some cool place, and then go for dessert, right? Now you've had 4 different locations in the course of, let's say, in the course of 3 or 4 hours, right? Can you imagine what that looks like from the woman's, like, have the empathy to think can you imagine some woman took you out and took you to 4 different locations? You know, it's exciting. It's a new location. And every time you transition, she gets a little more comfortable with you.
Yes.
But the same thing is true. I mean, so there's always a subtext. There's always a subtext of what you're saying underneath, what your actions, what your body posture says, what your tone of voice says, the way that you phrase words. But you don't have to learn how to do that. You just have to build the confidence in what your value is, and then those things will happen naturally. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're working your butt off, you know, like you're in college and when you don't get the grades that you think you deserve, you lose your mind, right? Because I've earned this. It is owed to me. The same thing is true as if you got a six-pack with the cum gutters, you don't get that easy. That takes work. That takes discipline. That discipline becomes equity. That you get to sell or trade in social in terms of social situations. So when you're working to be the best version of yourself, there's a confidence that comes over because it's undeniable. And those things are the things that you think necessary. You know, do you read books? Do you travel? Do you take some kind of martial arts? Do you go to the gym? Do you you know, all of these things and it doesn't have to be huge. It could be, if you don't have to have a lot of money, I mean, it could be just that you're active in cultivating your personality. That is where the confidence comes from. So when you're dealing with somebody, you're set, and you're approaching. I'm gonna tell you something. This is gonna sound crazy. Anybody that I allow in my life, right? I believe that I am a benefit to them in one way or another. They will either learn something they will learn. They may get a hookup that they never hooked up. If it's not, it's gonna be an enjoyable time. I'm gonna shed some wisdom. If we go out, you know, I'll probably pick up the check in general. And I'm saying male, female, or otherwise. So even if nothing else, I had a friend of mine who was friends of mine for 20 years, and I counseled him through a divorce, and he sold his house, and then the dude called me up. He says, "Look, I did what you said. I sold the house. We split the money. I'm now buying my new house. I just moved into the new house." He says, "But the place is a wreck. Do you know a contractor?" So I call a good friend of mine as a contractor to go. I said, "Look, I know you're busy, but this is my boy. Bomb, go take care of him." So he sets up his apartment, right? The contractor did it for me. A year later, I get a call from the contractor. The contractor says to me, "Your boy never paid me." So I call my man up and I go, "Yo, are you out of your mind?" He was like, "You know, I was going through the divorce, the kids, the lawyers." I go, "I don't give a fuck about your kids, your lawyers, your divorce. I don't give a fuck about nothing. The fact that I'm in your life and I have assets, there's resources that you get from me. I bring, comes part of it. If you need something, even if I don't got it, I can get somebody to get it. The point is, how do you get to that point? It's by being righteous. It's about being authentic. It's about being credible. It's about being empathetic. People want to be around you. They gravitate to you, and you feel so comfortable in that you're able to take up space. And so there's a direction, like for instance, when we're talking about dating, the time travel is just something to do. But if you're genuinely interested in somebody, you're gonna want to hear what she likes or what she doesn't like. Because what's better than having a date go perfect? You feel accomplished. She had a good time. It boosts your confidence. But how do you do that? You got to pay attention. You got to listen. You got to have the empathy to decide that somebody else other than yourself is important. Is that cool? That makes sense?
Yes, sir. No, that makes absolute sense. I'm definitely going to break it down to her that, you know, I like to talk on the phone. I'm not a big texter. You know, we talk on the phone. I made notes about the time travel. You know, hugging when you.
Now, have y'all slept together yet or no?
No, sir.
Okay. So here's the thing. I know this is going to sound a little bold. I would say, hopefully that we have some kind of connection and we can end up much closer. I don't see how we get closer if we don't have if we're not talking on the phone, if I don't get to know you. And if you're not interested in getting to know me, that's fine. And I just know, I won't waste my time.
Yeah, I like that frame.
I mean,
Okay.
I had a friend of mine that I was counseling, and the woman said to him, "I am terrified of speaking on the phone," right? And he just went on. I go, Doug, you're not engaged. How could somebody that you're attracted to, you're supposedly you're attracted to, you're interested in getting to know her? She says, "I'm terrified of something," and you don't go. That's such a strong word to not go. Why? Like, to not genuinely want to know why. Now, if you don't want to ask questions because you don't want to fuck up, that's one thing. That still has to be dealt with. But the question is, do you have the real interest in another human being just to get to know them, just enough to find out? See, because, you might just not want to waste your time with this person. That's the real thing.
Yeah.
You literally can get to the point where there's people who you won't have sex with because it's not worth it to you. Somebody will throw some pussy and you be like, "Nah, I'm good." And that's better than getting laid half the time. That you wake up every day, you brush your teeth, you look in the mirror, and you go, "Yo, that dude is dope, and he does dope shit." And you know how you know that? Because you consciously make an effort to do so. You take boxing lessons, you go to the gym, you read books, you travel, you do different things, you say yes to things, you open yourself up to cultivate who you are as a man so that you're interesting. The only problem is that the downside of that is that you get picky and you're a little lonely because it just becomes people that you just won't fuck with,
Yeah.
I've removed friends from my life simply because I'm just not tolerant of the bullshit. It's not. I'm not a person who won't, like, the first thing what I said is you got to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Because that will tell you everything you need to know. So
Yes,
I hope that answers the question, bro.
That answered my question fully, and I'm subscribed, and I hope I get an opportunity to connect with you in the future. And,
Anytime, real quick, book a consultation, DanteNero.com, click on consult. You can get me direct. We have the Patreon, Man School 202 Patreon. You can help support so that I can keep doing this and bringing these gems to you like I do. Don't like and subscribe, comment, and don't forget to smash the bell on YouTube. This is dope. We got 7 minutes, Mike? If we can get one quick call.
We can do, one quick.
If we got one quick call, if not, I'm going to shut it down. Man, I just appreciate all the support, y'all. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all weekly. I'm also, here's important. Anybody send me a message on YouTube or anything you want to send me on, send me a message. What day would be the best day to do a second live? I'm going to let y'all decide. What day and time because I'm thinking about doing a second live during the week.
A message, you can just put out a poll on like any.
Okay,
Twitter,
I'll do that too. But if y'all message me, that'd be fine too.
Yeah, message as well. But you can put out a poll and result in like a week.
That's dope. Mikey, let's shut it down, bro. We got one? Go ahead, let's do it real quick.
Cole, you're on the air.
What's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Who am I speaking with?
This is Natalie from Los Angeles, California.
How you doing, Natalie? How can I help you?
Am I live on the air?
Yes, you are.
Oh, nice. And you talk to women too?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm such a big fan. Well, anyways, so I've been recently talking to somebody. I met somebody online on Sunday.
Right.
But I've been doing a lot of self-help work for the past couple years now.
Okay.
And my previous relationship was extremely abusive. Started off I don't know the pattern, but verbal, emotionally, and then physically.
Now let me ask you this. So what made you stay? Like, what was the well, no, let's back up. Now, I'm not going to ask you that, but I'm going to ask you what at what moment did something tingle in you to say that this could be a problem?
The moment where there was some sort of control.
No,
trying
specifically, do you remember the incident where you first felt like, oh, this might be a problem?
When the first instance, this might be a problem, when we went out and he was checking out another girl very intensely.
Right, not like, let me get an eyeful and move on. Right, it was almost like disrespectful to you.
Yes.
Okay.
And then when I kind of asked him about it, he was like, "Oh no, it was very passive." And then I was like, "Well, that doesn't."
Wait,
make
he
any
said
sense.
no, it didn't happen, or did he deny it, or what?
He denied it,
Okay.
and that's pretty much how our relationship. Like, he would do these things, action-wise, in my face.
Now now let me ask you this. If the action was explained, would you be okay with that? If you said that to me, I go, look, I look at people, and that's no disrespect to you, but I look at people. I can try and curb it, but I'm not going to, this is how I've operated my whole life. I don't want you to think that this is lesser than you, but this is how I am. How would you have taken that?
If he would have explained it to me, I would have understood, and then, he would have given me examples of how, he was, like, that was him.
Well, I'm just,
because
my question is, I guess the other thing that I'm trying to point out is women will make decisions that you may be very surprised about, unless, of course, you give them an opportunity. Every woman that doesn't want to marry you, every woman doesn't want to lock you into a relationship. Sometimes y'all just want to fuck somebody and keep it moving.
I understand completely. That wasn't me then, but that's me now.
What do you mean? Just you're not looking for? You're trying to? Oh, you're avoiding.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
You're avoiding connection, I guess.
I have been from the past experience, but since I've been doing all this work on myself, I've been trying to, create some sort of connection with either a friend or a relationship, but have it be a positive emotional connection.
Well, let me ask you this: was it this relationship that got so abusive that changed you, or did you go through some abuse before? Or did you have people
No, I went through it was all through childhood too, and just processing all of that.
Okay,
and,
but you also understand that is a reaction. So a lot of times we go through trauma when we're younger, right? And then we figure out how to move on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we have a limited intellect because we're kids. So but then we have this, and then this is how we move forward in our lives, right? But then when how old are you now?
I'm 39.
Okay.
Embark on 40.
But see what happens at 39, very rarely do we go back and look at the thing that triggered the trauma, and if the way we chose to deal with it is a still viable solution. At 39. So we're basically reacting the way we would as a 10-year-old and never reassessing the trauma that we've had when we have more information to pull from, So like, for instance, I know a girl who got molested at a very young age, and because she got molested, she was highly promiscuous because it was by a family member. So what happened is the closest people that she trusted were the people that violated her, right? So anytime she feels trust for somebody, it triggers this kind of Pavlovian thing. Well, it's only a matter of time till they violate my safety. But once we know that a lot of times the situation that happened, I mean, just because that happened in one situation doesn't mean it's going to happen forever,
Right.
It's going to change. And when it does change, as we learn and we learn to cope better, we have to reassess the trauma from an adult's perspective and understand that there's very unlikely that the way we've learned to cope at 10 years old or at 12 years old or whatever is the way we would handle it now at 39.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go through this emotional thing and then you seek out an emotionally abusive person because that feels like it's home.
Right. That would be the connection towards a family member.
Right.
You know, a parent.
Exactly. So it becomes the same patterns over and over and over and over again. But you're 39 now. You can make different decisions.
I know, but it's, you know, I'm a late bloomer and it's scary. So I've just been, you know, I've been learning about myself. It's been a journey and it's been a long process.
I also want to say that bravery is not being scared. Bravery is acting in the face of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you want to be brave. I understand it's hard, but you get through this on the other side. I promise you, you'll love yourself and you'll be able to make the life that you want.
Oh, thank you.
But you got to go through it.
I know, but I'm scared.
Yeah, well, we're all scared, but you got to go through it, and you got to. And now, when you start to make these decisions, and you feel that tingle where it goes, "Wow, this is abusive," or "This is," then you take note of it.
Yeah.
And then you don't spend. I don't know, how long did you date this guy?
For a year and a half.
Yeah, so you don't spend a year of abuse. You're on the date and they do it and you go, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot quicker at doing that.
But you gotta you also understand something, and as you grow and you become a better woman, the caliber of man you're gonna want more of, and the bottom line is it's a you know, life's a bitch, but your options become less. As you get older, as you become more sophisticated and you need a more mature kind of intimacy or whatever, the door closes, and this is why you gotta get it done early. You gotta get it done early and then cultivate this relationship, because it's all the same. It's just another dude with another problems, or another woman with problems, and us trying as human beings to kind of mesh and get along. I gotta go, babe. But thank you so much for calling.
Thank you so much for talking to me. Tell Godfrey I have a big crush on him. Okay, it was developed over 2 weeks. Love you. Bye.
All right, bye. Yo, thank y'all all for hanging out. Myq, hit the music. That was good. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget, put in the comments what's the best the day and time that y'all want me to do the live, and I'll figure out whatever, and I'll also do a poll on this, so I appreciate y'all. Let's do it, Myq. We out of here.
Man School 202. Better hear what I've got to say, because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.